Hello everyone! Today I'm going to go over my best of 2016 in beauty. And first off, I want to say that even though 2016 had a lot of great, amazing, incredible, and unexpected ups, it was full of some of the worst downs I've ever experienced. It was an extremely tough year for me, to say the least. I'm sure you guys have had a lot of questions, which I will address at the end of this video because I do want to focus on the very good products that I did discover in 2016. I want to start with what I have tied for 1 and 2, which may not come as a surprise. But first, I wanted to talk to you about my Burberry Effortless Brow Definer, which is essentially an eyebrow pencil. And eyebrows are huge for me. As you know, I went from super arched to super straight. As many of you guys know, I've worked with Burberry for a long time. I've loved and used their products before they ever approached me, which I'm sure those who have stuck around long enough definitely know. And just to be clear, none of this content is sponsored. This is all stuff that I'm saying from the heart because this is stuff that I use every single day and rely on all the time, even to this day, not just because they were the best of 2016. So I use the Burberry Brow Definer in Ebony, which is the black color, but it's not an intimidating black where you draw one stroke and you're like, oh crap, I gotta start over. Ebony looks lighter on camera than it does in person, which is why I use it, because it's a bit more dramatic. If I used it every single day, it would probably need to be repurchased every 2 to 3 months. There is no better brow pencil for me for my very sparse, very thin brows than the Burberry. It helps give me shape. The density of my brow hairs look more natural. It's a better match than more powdery products. And as far as the Surratt, which I was using a lot, since my brows have grown in more, I find that the Surratt looks a little bit oily at the end of the day. So that's why the Burberry is my go-to. But tied for number 1 with the Burberry brow pencil is the Dior Dream Skin Cushion. This is actually touted as a skincare product and I have been using this every single day. It's essentially a tinted primer, but it has SPF 50. It's not too greasy. When my skin is super dry, it doesn't accentuate the flakes or the patchiness too much. So that's why I cannot live without this. They do have a new Dior Cushion Foundation, but to be honest, this is totally enough coverage for me when it's all over my face. I like to wear as little as humanly possible on my complexion nowadays because I've been working on really improving the texture and natural state of my skin. I do still have some acne scarring, but it's so much less noticeable than it was a year or 2 ago. So I'm really happy with the progress. Okay, so now you guys know these 2 are my absolute must-haves. These are the products that I use every day. I'm going to talk to you about my third, which some of you may have probably have noticed I've been using a lot more of. I was dabbling with concealers a lot. As you guys know, I like to try everything and I just want to see how things stack up to my favorites. Because I've tried so much, nothing really impresses me. So when I love something, it's usually pretty good for the most part. Not saying that I know best, but as far as the best concealer for my acne scarring, nothing sits smoother, lasts longer, and looks more like real skin than Clé de Pose concealer. It works a miracle on my acne scars. It covers redness, I don't have to layer too much, and it just looks and feels good. It's so compact, so portable. It's really expensive, but I only go through about 2 or 3 a year. So this rounds out my daily trifecta. I do want to throw in honorable mentions and slightly more affordable options for those who are curious, because I know those questions do come up in the comments. I think that the best new concealer that I tried in 2016 was the Dior Fix-It. This is the 2-in-1 Prime and Conceal. This works on face, eyes, and lips. I've only ever used it on my face. I purchased it in number 025 medium beige, which is a touch darker than Clé de Pose ochre, which I use on my face. I would say it's a decent fit. I should probably purchase 1 shade down and mix it with this, but I don't really use it that often, mostly just around my forehead. We're going to move on to bronzer because I tried, I think, over a dozen new bronzers last year. I was pretty dedicated to Tom Ford's Terra for a few years, and I still love it. I still think it's great, but my skin is different now, especially with it being being so cold and rainy and dreary in Southern California, I've been using my heater a lot. So with heat comes more dehydration for the skin, even though I'm constantly drinking water. So I have been looking for a bronzer that's not too orange, not too red, really smooth texture, not too glittery. I just had so many of these little things that I was looking for in my Holy Grail bronzer, but finally I tried the Laura Mercier bronzer in 02. This is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder, and I had tried it in a darker color before, probably 3 or 4, and it just looked awful on me, probably because duh, it's too dark. It's not like a MAC mineralized skin finish, which is more satiny. This looks like real skin. Since we just talked about all my everyday makeup essentials, I wanted to talk to you about the only skincare product that I'm going to feature in this video, because these two, well, it's essentially the same thing, just slightly different. This retinol is the only thing that made an incredibly noticeable difference in my skin in 2016. This is the PCA Intensive Retinols. This is the clarity version and this is the brightening. They're both evening treatments, and when you use these, you must be extremely diligent with your sunscreen application. Otherwise, you'll end up with more sunspots and more sun damage than you started with in the first place. I also worked with PCA, but only because I love the product so much. By the time my renovation was in full swing and the whole process was even complete, my whole face was broken out. It was like I had waxed my face and it started all over again from, 3-4 years ago. It was awful. The stress was getting to me and it was showing on my face. So when I first started integrating the PCA Intensive Clarity Treatment, this started to clear up my acne right away. So if you have cystic pimples, if you have stubborn pimples, whiteheads, even blackheads, I still use it to help control my blackheads or big pimples. This clarity treatment is something that you absolutely need to try, and a little goes a long way. Now that I don't break out as often as I used to, thank goodness, since that product works, now I rely more on the brightening treatment. And if you're looking for instantaneous overnight results, this is probably the best brightening treatment out there. When I wake up in the morning, my skin looks noticeably brighter. I wouldn't say it looks fairer, but I do get asked that sometimes by girls who are trying to get rid of a tan. So it does work. PCA makes some of the best sunscreens, moisturizers, and treatments I've ever tried. And their stuff is a lot more affordable than the majority of the skincare that I tend to talk about. We're gonna move on to one of my beauty essentials, which are false lashes. I have some words about eyelash extensions, which are so beautiful and they look so natural. Of course, they're a lot more convenient. You wake up looking and feeling beautiful and totally enhanced, which is probably the best part of having eyelash extensions. But I have this problem with sleeping on this side of my face. So my right eye, you're viewing left, has perfect extensions for probably 3 weeks straight. And by the time week 1 is over, I have no eyelashes left on this side of my face because I just smushed this eyeball into my pillowcase. So velour lashes are still my favorite. They came out with the Rich and Fluffy, which is what I'm wearing today. They are probably my favorite velour lashes, even though the Nakeds are amazing. I think they call it Naked Lash. They're super comfortable, just like the Rich and Fluffy. I actually think these are probably better if you want to wear them during the day, as opposed to the Skin to Skin, which is my favorite from that Naked Lash collection. It has a clear band, but I use black eyelash glue, so the band turns black anyway. If you're looking for something a little bit more natural, then Oops Naughty Me or Strike a Pose are really, really good alternatives. Okay, here we go with mascara. As you guys know, I'm really big on mascara. I think I actually tend to wear mascara more often than eyeliner. Just like I said, as I age, I just tend to wear less. Some women have said that they prefer the older version of the Eyes to Kill waterproof. I like this one better. I don't know, it just works for me. I do miss the sleek and elegant metal tubes, but this is way lighter on my makeup bag. So I don't really mind the glossy black packaging, even though it is a little bit more, standard fare. Now, I love the Sisley. This is my honorary mention. This is my Sisley So Curl Mascara, but this is almost prohibitively expensive. I love the brush. I wish this brush was on this Armani mascara. And at least with Nordstrom's buy 2 get the third one free, That's probably the only time I would consider buying the Sizzly, because in that way I can kind of get a discount. But I think that for the price, and because it's waterproof, it doesn't smudge and it doesn't flake, it doesn't irritate my contacts, this Armani mascara is truly my best of 2016. I talked about these so much to the point that you guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about them, but these are the Burberry Lip Velvets. I really only wear 2 of them. Specifically Nude Apricot number 401 is my holy grail nude. There is no lipstick that is more flattering on me than this one, and some of you have said it looks a little too pale on you. I highly recommend using a lip liner underneath the Burberry lipstick in Nude Apricot. And I also really like, if you want something more punchy, the Rosy Red. In case you haven't seen me wear this or talk about it, it just has a really creamy formula, not too much silicone, there's not a lot of slip, so it stays on the lips even when I drink a lot of water, because I'm constantly drinking something throughout the day, and the tone is just right for me. It's not too nude, it's not too peach, it's not too brown, it's not the most long lasting, it's definitely not the most matte, but it just has that super velvety, really pigmented formula that I absolutely love. Okay, so if you're looking for something, I think it's more affordable by a few dollars, but Charlotte Tilbury's Matte Revolution lipsticks are just some of the most amazing lipsticks. Burberry's are nice, but they are lacking a strong My Lips But Better and nude family to their collection. They do a lot of bold stuff, like Oxblood is so pretty, but it's not something I want to wear every day. So that's why I highly recommend Sexy Sienna. It is a more peach terracotta-y version of Nude Apricot, and I think that the Charlotte Tilbury formula is a little bit drier, but not to the point where it makes my lips peel. It's actually very nourishing and it's super, super pigmented. The colors and pigments are a little bit more punchy. Even the nudes, 1 or 2 swipes and it covers your lips almost like concealer. Now, I don't wear super light shades. I feel like colors such as Lost Cherry look excellent when blended out in that gradient lip style that Korean K-pop girls are super known for. And that's exactly how I wear Lost Cherry every time. I just think it looks best that way. You can use a Q-tip or a brush, it doesn't really matter, as long as your brush and fingertip are clean. But those 2, the Burberry and the Charlotte Tilbury, were my favorites from 2016, and I still love and wear them to this day. They're handbag staples. So that's it. Let's just take a moment to appreciate my Free People top. I have been loving Free People for clothes last year and this year. Let's get to the personal stuff though. I have gotten, with age, I definitely have become a little bit more comfortable with talking about my personal life on camera. I don't have the kind of life where it's easy to talk about. I don't just like opening up and sharing stuff about myself. Even in real life, I'm a very private person. So it's only logical for me that I would never share those things on YouTube. But I know that there are certain expectations now, especially with everyone sharing just about everything, it seems. That's why this year you're going to learn a little bit more about me, who I am as a person. I'm gonna show you my hobbies and such. But 2016, like I said, was a really tough year for me. I got out of a long, very difficult relationship. And of course, I am so grateful for all of you guys who have stuck by me, been patient with me, been encouraging when I was in the dumps. And you know, I am so glad to be back. I have started 2017 on the right foot. I am going to be doing some travel vlogs for you in Paris and London because I'm going with my friend Shirley overseas. We're gonna go to Paris and London in March. And more importantly, I feel more focused. I feel more centered. I feel like almost a different person. I'm going to wrap this up by saying thank you, and thank you again. I have been so grateful to be on this journey. I know I'm very lucky. Even if you've said mean things directly to me or not directly to me, it doesn't really matter. It's okay. I accept those things, I move on, and I try to do better every day. Do what feels right. And if something feels wrong, you can go ahead and change that. And my progress has been slow. The transitions have been very rocky, but I'm at a better place and I hope to be in the best place of my life this year. So I hope and wish the very same for you all. Here's to our best year ever. And even if you've had a tough start to this year, you know, it gets better and you just have to try. You have to try hard every single day, but it will get better. And with that said, that's a wrap. I'll see you guys in my next video, which should be a haul or my January favorites. So we'll see which one ends up going up first. But thanks very much for watching, everyone, and for listening to me talk, and I will see you next time. Bye.